Shalom, all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And this video will be entitled Response. Real men have one wife, not thoughts or side pieces. But what about concubines? Do real men have concubines, which is a wife of lesser status? Anyway, this is another bonehead statement by IUIC. This time, IUIC Oklahoma. This guy you see on the screen, I think he goes by the name of Abiel, right? One of the, I guess you could say a key figure in IUIC. I don't know if he's a key figure, if that's the right phrase to use. Anyway, I think this guy, I'm sure it's his account, IUIC Oklahoma. Real men have one wife, not thoughts or side pieces. Now, this was, and I'm just not saying that this was from 2 years ago. Oklahoma, October 24, 2022. But recently it resurfaced. And brothers been kind of discussing it between us all day long. All right. And this is coming from guys who fancy themselves as these major law keepers and all of this. But in the law, it tells you that you can have concubines, that you can have more than one wife in the law. You have to be careful out there. Just a word of caution to different brothers, right? When you get ready to follow the truth, you got to make sure that you don't make your desires or the desires of others. Don't try to make that into a doctrine, because we realize that one of the main teachings that the world, the women of the world, and worldly people in general, one of the main teachings, not the main one, but one of them, that the world has a problem with is the notion of more than one wife. The so-called black woman hates it. Israelite women hate it, for the most part. We know the so-called white man Esau, he hates it because he would rather see two men get married than so-called married. He'd rather see two men together than a man having more than one wife. I wonder why the world thinks that it's okay and you people are hypocrites. You so-called black women, black men out there, you're a bunch of goddamn hypocrites, because here it is, a guy can be a rapper and have all kind of money, and the woman will be okay with that man having more than one woman. You even go get him a woman and bring her back, so your nasty ass can have a threesome. But as soon as a righteous man say it's a righteous thing for a man to have more than one wife, now you got a problem with it. We've all seen growing up, athletes, other sports figures, other entertainment figures, celebrities have one woman on each arm, and the women be totally fine with it. But as soon as a regular man that's a righteous guy says that he can have more than one wife, all y'all throw a fit like it's the worst thing in the world. Now you got these Israelites who are pandering, posing, bending over backwards to try to make these fucking women be happy by telling them you going against the word of truth, so they can be happy because they got a problem with a man having more than one wife. Now, we'll say this. GMS, we don't push men having multiple wives, all these different women, because we are focused on preaching the gospel, teaching the word, right? However, it's not against the law if a man has more than one wife, more than one woman, whatever. It's not against the law. But for the times that we're living in now, it's not expedient. Let's go there real quick. Meaning it's not convenient. It's not conducive to teaching the word. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 12. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. Just because the law says you can do something doesn't mean that you should. However, it doesn't mean that also that it's not, that it's unlawful. Just because something is lawful doesn't mean you should do it in this time, but that in no way means that it's against the law. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. 1 Corinthians 10:23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. Just because it's allowable doesn't mean that it's right for you. The main focus in our lives is the preaching and the teaching of the gospel. Pumping these videos out, looking for, you're making sure that the elect is getting edification, or that they're even found and awakened. That's our main focus. But while that is our main focus, it doesn't mean that we're going to look at things that are lawful and say that they're not lawful because we don't agree with them. The apostles of GMS, I'm going to say it again, they have told brothers time and again, this is no time to be multiplying wives, having all the women. But we're not going to tell you that it's not in the law that men can have more than one wife, because it is. It's in the law. These guys, they're leaning on their, really, they ain't even leaning on their own understanding. They love to they want to make sure that they keep the females happy so they can keep that revenue stream coming in, because a great portion of their revenue comes from women. And you're not going to be able to attract that as many women if you tell them that their men can have more than one wife. Now, this dude said real men have one wife. So that means if men had more than one wife, that means they wasn't real men. What about Abraham? Abraham had concubines. He had Hagar. He had Sarah. Then he had other concubines as well. What about Jacob? What about King David? What about King Solomon? And many other kings of Israel had more than one wife openly. And they had concubines. King Solomon had 1,000 women. And he was regarded as the wisest Israelite ever to live. King David was a man after the Most High's own heart. And King David had wife after wife after wife and concubines. You said he wasn't a real man? This is all that. And look, like I said in the chat to the brothers, a dude, look, if you got a wife that you love, you find the love of your life, right? Nobody touch it the way she do or whatever it is. She can make the best apple pie. That's good for you. But don't turn around and turn that into a doctrine just because you met the love of your life and that's your soulmate and you happy with that. Don't turn around and tell the rest of the brothers, or make it into a thing where you frown down upon men that have more than one wife. You just say you love your one wife and you satisfied with her and you don't want to be with nobody else. But don't try to put it on everybody else, because now you're going off. You adding to the scriptures. Really, it's just a post, But they do teach that. IUIC does teach that a man is only supposed to have one wife. Now, some of them will, let's see if I can find the scripture. Let's see here. One wife. Let's grab that, because that's the first thing somebody's going to say. You have to look up words. Right? This is 1 Timothy 3 and verse 2. I'm going to start at 1. This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth the good work. Who is a bishop? The bishop is a leader, right? Let's look the word up. Don't take my word for it. And y'all bear with me here. See what a bishop is. Because every brother is not a bishop. Episcopo is the word in the Greek. And it says visitation, bishopric, office of a bishop. Number 1, the act by which the Most High looks. 2, definition 2.1, overseership, office, charge, the office of an elder, the overseeing or presiding officers of it says a Christian church, which really is an Israelite church. So really, the bishop is like the man that's over things. So it's really like a head. So this is what it's to. This is who it's talking about. I ain't talking about every brother. But even then, it's not against the law, even if a bishop has more than one wife. But it's told to him, let's read it. This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth the good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, right? Every brother is not a bishop. So don't turn around and say that men can only have one wife and that's it. All men are not bishops, right? And there's other things going on there. And even inside of that, like we said, it's not against the law for a man that's the bishop to have more than one wife. But these people that are so embedded with the law this, the law that, the law, they be the main damn ones who don't keep the law. Okay. Salakia. So let's also get 1 Timothy 3, that same chapter, but verse 12. I should have read it while I was over there. Y'all bear with me here. Now, here it says, I'm just going to jump in and go to the point. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children in their own houses. What's a deacon? That's also another leadership position. That's another leadership position. But again, all Israelites are not going to be deacons and bishops. You're going to have way more regular Israelites than just deacons and bishops. Salakia, brothers. Deacon. Diakonos. What does it say? One who executes the commands of another, especially of a master, a servant, attendant, minister, the servant of a king. A deacon, one who by a deacon, one who by virtue of the office assigned to him by the church cares for the poor and has charge of and distributes the money collected for their use. So it's another leadership position, as we told you before. Now, not every brother is a bishop. Not every brother's going to have that leadership, which we don't really call ourselves bishops and deacons that much in GMS. But, hey, you might do it in the group you in. We would just simply say heads or you know, pretty much heads or elders or whatever. But we don't even push brothers and tell them that they should get more than one wife. We don't tell brothers to do that. We tell them that's the least thing that should be on your mind. Okay. Then now let's get Titus. Titus 1, verse 6. And where we start at? We'll start at 5. Look, qualifications for elders. Every brother's not an elder. For this cause left I thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city as I had appointed thee. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly. For a bishop must be blameless, as the steward of the Most High, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate, holding fast the faithful word as he hath been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort, by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. Going back up here, if any be blameless, the husband of one wife, right? So while you certain Israelites will go to that CSA right there, one wife, but what's it talking about though? It's talking about leaders of a congregation, and even then, in the kingdom of heaven, all men gonna have more than one wife, and that's really what we deal. We deal more with the things that's coming in the future, and they're not regarded. Your other wives are not regarded as thots, side pieces. Because men are allowed concubines, even now. You allow concubines even now. But for the sake of this video, in the kingdom of heaven, coming up in the future, men will have more than one wife. But before we get that, it's in the law that men can have more than one wife. And we reading this for guys who always, look, IUIC leads with the law. The laws, the statutes, the commandments. Why are you ashamed of the Most High's word? You say, no, rape ain't in there. Which it is, if you want to call it that. Forcing. That's in the scriptures. You don't like it, so you try to leave it out, right? People, it's controversial and people can't handle it, so therefore you twist what's really being said. Now here we are with the one wife thing. See, the same guys that tell you that you can't have more than one wife will tell you that if a man does have a wife and she ain't in the truth, he's supposed to put that woman away and get him a new wife. Well, ain't that multiple wives still? Because that other woman ain't never going to stop being your wife. She's never going to not be your wife. Once you came into that woman, she's always your wife. So how then can you put a woman, if a woman is an unbeliever, which the scripture tell you should still stay with the woman if she want to stay with you. But you guys say if you married and the person is an unbeliever, you got to put that woman away and find a woman who is a believer. And it's complete confusion. Complete confusion. Real quick, this is Exodus 21. And I'm going to start at, I'm just going to go right to the point. Exodus 21:10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. Let me have to read up a little bit. We'll start at 7. Exodus 21:7. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, not the one wife, but another wife, this is in the law, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. See, so when you go to take another wife, you have to make sure you provide for her. That's what food, raiment, and the duty of marriage is what? Make sure you doing your husbandly duties to her. In this case, it says, and if you have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So really, it's like saying, when it comes to the second wives, you can't have a wife, then see a new wife that you want to take, and you be so mad in love with her, you get with her, then you neglect the other. No, you can't do that. You can't neglect her. You still have to provide for both of them the same, or however many you got to provide for them the same as you would any other time. Now we're going to jump here, and we ain't going to stay on this a long time. But in the kingdom of heaven, in the kingdom to come, all the laws going to be in our inward parts. That's Hebrews 8. Now, we're going to have to go there and read it. Salakia. Hebrews 8. We're going to be, the law of the Heavenly Father is going to be implemented on the whole earth. It's going to be within us, and we're going to implement it throughout the whole world. Hebrews 8 and 7. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. So you're going to have the law in you. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all Israelites shall know me from the least to the greatest. So if you're operating in the new world with the law in you, this is how you will govern. This is how you will live. And in said law, it says, well, let's go and find it. Deuteronomy 21, verse 10. Keep in mind, we're going to do war against the nations, all of them. And we're going to take them into captivity in the kingdom. Deuteronomy 21 and 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive. What's captive mean? As slaves. And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and shall put away the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Now, when it says wife and husband here in this verse, it's under the conditions of concubinage, which you will be her husband, and she will be your wife, but she's a wife of lesser status or a concubine. She's not a full, like if it's from another nation, of course it is. Say if it's an Edomite woman. That Edomite woman ain't going to be on the level of your Israelite wife. See? But you can't have a side. I don't like to use the term side piece or no damn thought. That's something completely different. But she will be a concubine. So you will have your regular wife, your Israelite wives, but then other nations going to be concubines unto us. It's not a dirty thing for a man to have more than one woman. As we've told you before, and it's in many places in the scriptures where in the past, like I said, Abraham, King David, King Solomon, just to name three real quick, had more than one wife. You see? And as we move forward throughout, now we transition to a level of captivity. We on the bottom, we servants. You see? So you know, brothers that's just newly in the faith or just been in the faith for a while, we do not push nor tell them, we even look down on it a little bit when brothers have all them damn women. We don't look down to the point where we wind up hating you or something, but we know that the guy that's trying to stack up these women for himself, he think he a Mac daddy. How you gonna deal with the gospel? How you gonna go to camp and make your videos every day like you're supposed to do if you got all them damn women? So that's where your expedience comes in, your experience and your expedience. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things don't edify. So there's certain stuff that we just don't do, right? We don't have all the different wives and women, but it's not against the law for brother got more than one wife. As for the phrase, real men have one wife, that's very disrespectful. But these guys can't help but put their foot in their mouth. But this is what happens when you're the main focus instead of the word being the main focus. So Lord willing, you learn something from this. All right, we'll come back again with another lesson, Lord willing.